Hello everyone, it's Dimitri here, the immigration and the health mentor. So I haven't been putting any videos recently because since I left New Zealand, I went to Dubai. I really enjoyed the period of, relaxation and kind of little bit easing all these COVID measures and having some freedom. So I was so enjoying it, and of course I've been doing some work and stuff, but definitely I just needed some relaxation, a break from whatever was happening in regards to the restrictions and the lockdowns and all my most of my environment that kind of believed in this scenario. So I really enjoyed it. And since then, since December, lots of things happened. So one of the things, I also been in Ukraine, and then after being there, I just needed to leave because thanks to Israeli government, they told me that I need to move as soon as possible because of the war is happening, and actually nobody in Ukraine believed that it's going to happen. But I was quite sure that the Israeli government knows better about what is going to be, so I was just listening to them, and I went out of Ukraine. Yeah, and I'm very sad about what's happening in Ukraine, because Ukraine was one of my favorite places to be. And now I don't know what is going to left from it. So that's really sad. So anyway, that's a little bit of updates. And what I want to talk about today is comparison, and compare life living in New Zealand 6 years and then coming back to Israel for a few months. What I noticed, in terms of prices, in terms of food quality, in terms of accommodation and the quality of the accommodation. So I want to talk about all these basic things that a lot of people kind of interested in. So let's start. So let's talk about the weather. So I can't say a lot about the weather, but actually the winter in Israel is great. It's really good, and as you can see, everything is really green, nice and green. And also I've been in a lot of places in the north of Israel, and also the nature is amazing. So of course New Zealand has great nature, but also I must say Israel has good nature as well. And I discovered the Israeli nature that is actually quite nice to be. And probably in the winter, probably in summer it will be less beautiful, just like this, but it will be less beautiful, but this is what it is. So the weather is, for example, today one of the coldest days, 15th of March 2022. It's like 10 degrees during the day and 1 degree at night. And I like this weather. It's not really hot. Of course in summer, well, it will be way hotter. Anyway, so that's regards the weather. And of course the weather in New Zealand is it's really differentiated between the south and north, but a lot of storms, a lot of floods, and way colder, of course, but at least not really high extreme heat. The other thing I want to talk about is accommodation, the quality of the building. As you can see, the buildings here, even the story buildings, are really high quality built. And that's I noticed after living so many years in so many houses around New Zealand that has no insulation, that poorly built, and even the new houses now that being built, like massively built, not like it's private construction or something like this, they really poor quality. They're really cold. The noise insulation is really terrible. and they are super extremely expensive. While in Israel, even the old buildings that 60, 70 years old, they insulated quite well. The noise reduction is quite good. And if you're talking about the prices, of course you compare Tel Aviv to Auckland is way more expensive over there, but also the wage is way better over there if you work in Haiti, for example. And in Auckland is actually the price catching up. It's also very expensive and it's catching up. It's not like in 2008 you could afford a house easily, but also in Israel in 2008 you could afford house, well, less easier, but still you could afford. Yeah. And that's regards the housing. So I'm really pleased and really enjoying the houses. So I'm not freezing cold inside the houses like I was freezing in New Zealand. So that's the building. Another thing that actually I see as a positive for Israel, that has a proximity for rest of the world. So if I'm from here, you have quite close Asia, you have quite close Europe, you have quite close African countries. So you have a lot of options where to go and fly just in a few hours back and forth. And I was really enjoying that. While New Zealand, you know, it's really far from the rest of the world, and you need, you know, fly for months and months and months. That's what I'm doing usually, like flying for months and months and months, because the flight is really long, expensive and everything. But of course the prices for the food and all the import and export also very expensive because of the length of New Zealand from the rest of the world. But on the other hand, in a time of war, who knows what is actually better. So there is actually maybe an advantage in New Zealand to be far, you know, like security advantage to be far. But the moment we just don't know. But if it's like normal times without any wars, it's actually better to be in this area that you can travel. This is the good thing. There's some dog barking in the video. Hopefully we'll kind of keep quiet. Anyway, so that's regards the proximity. But you know, regards food prices, it's way higher because of the different reasons. But one of them is if you import and export in fruits that are super expensive, and the local fruits that grow in also super expensive. And this is the next topic that I want to talk about, is the food. The food in Israel is way better, and food in general, you know, not only vegan food, but of course I'm vegan, and the variety of plant-based options here is just amazing. So enjoying it. And you have so many fruits and vegetables that in affordable price. I don't know what people complaining here that fruits and vegetables are expensive. You know, you have all year around like tomatoes and cucumbers per kg. You have like about 2-3 shekels per kg, and it's really tasty and high quality, you know. While in New Zealand in winter it could get to $18 per kilo, and most of the year it's quite expensive, the cucumbers and tomatoes. And you know, like one small cucumber, like a Lebanese cucumber, costs about $3 per unit, while here it's like 2-3 shekels per kilo. That's like less than that's maybe $1 New Zealand per kilo of cucumbers. For me it's amazing. It's a lot of food that's very super affordable. So I don't know what people are complaining, that the prices here are very expensive for the food. Even though, yes, the food price has gone up, but the fruits and vegetables, I can't say it changed much since like 10 years that I was kind of feeling that, oh, it's very expensive, the food. Anyway, and of course the restaurants, like you go in and you're receiving like nice big meals for a nice price. One thing I want to say, that prices in Eilat after the COVID era, hopefully it won't come back, but food prices in Eilat gone really up. The restaurants are really expensive, you know, just small basic salad. You need to pay 70 shekels for that. Like, what is that? In Beersheba or Tel Aviv, you're paying way less for that, you know, but Eilat got super expensive, and that's probably few reasons, because one of the owners of falafel, for example, I went, is saying, oh, the oil price got, like, you know, cooking oil got higher, and bread prices gone up and everything. But wait a second, how in Beersheba I'm paying twice less, like 13 shekels for falafel, and also in Arad I'm paying 13 shekels for falafel? And say, oh, the truck, you know, truck driving the ingredients to Eilat is more expensive. But wait a second, you also have a reduction in ma'am and taxes over there. Why is it still expensive? Anyway, so I really didn't like the prices in Eilat, and for food I won't really recommend to go there now, even though it's of course it's a nice place. I lived there for a few years, and hopefully something will change over there, but something really changed not for the good regards prices and variety, especially vegan variety in Eilat the last years, after especially the lockdowns and everything. So that's regards the food. I see a lot of more people using cash here, and I really like it, because when using cash, it's actually safety, security. It means that establishment not putting their nose inside what you're doing in your transactions. And privacy is, I think, it's important for everyone, and especially in the age that our privacy is being diminished. Using cash, it's good, it's security, it's safety, and a lot of people here using cash. While in New Zealand, for example, less and less people using cash, and ATMs are closing, and things becoming more digital. Like, there's no one to talk to. And I see it as a massive disadvantage. It will be also a massive disadvantage for you, because everything will be too much roboticized, like, you know, too much robots, instead of talking to someone face to face. So you will be talking with a robot or machine, or answer machine or whatever, and I just don't like it. Same, like, you know, in the supermarkets, you have this automatic machine that you buy instead of cashier. I prefer that cashier will serve me, and I will have a conversation with the cashier, and the cashier will have a job, instead of saving some minutes just using the machine. So please, if you listen to that, please always go to the cashiers in the supermarkets. Don't go to the quick automatic machines. All right. Another thing, at the moment, regards corona measures, Israel is quite free. Still, at the moment, you need to go inside with masks, but thankfully, a lot of people understand all this mask scam, and people just maybe put in the mask, but it's not fully on their face or whatever, and nobody is really jumping on you if you not wearing a mask or didn't brought a mask, or potentially they can give you a mask and you just can have the mask. But I don't feel the pressure that I felt in New Zealand regards the mask and everything. People understand that what they've been told is not true. And also regards vaccination rate, the fourth shot, at the moment today, only 700,000 people got the fourth shot. So people who got 2 shots and 3 shots already didn't come the 4th shot, because they understand already that it's not, I can't say it, it's not, because we just ended the 5th or 6th wave, not counting anymore, and people with 3 shots and 4 shots, whatever it is, they got sick anyway, you know. So and people without the shots also got sick, and so what's the point of, you know, getting these shots if it's not doing the job. So a lot of people already understood it, and that's one of the reasons probably they didn't came to the fourth shot as they came to the first and second or the third. So, and now also you don't need to show green pass to go to restaurants or, like, you know, elderly places or all these things. So that's quite nice. And also regards employment, also you can be employed even not having the shots. Some places will require you the shots, but again, about this thing, it's really dependent on the employer you're dealing with. So that will determine if you will go to that work or not, right? So that's regards the corona measures. While of course in New Zealand, you know, you can't do anything if you don't have the green pass. And that's a bit sad that for example, you know, now in New Zealand, like health professionals, even they positive with COVID and have symptoms, can they come back to work if they like in a urgent position, while, and same in education, while, you know, people who are completely healthy, who didn't take the shot, who are not have COVID, they can't go back and support and go to work, which makes no sense at all, you know. So that's the other thing. That's some things that I want to talk about. Also, many years ago, when I saw big advantages in New Zealand over Israel, they actually now diminished. So that's also one of the reasons, like in my immigration group, why to immigrate to New Zealand. I don't see much of a difference, you know, to go through all this immigration process and actually go. Actually in New Zealand they are kind of shrinking the options and the possibilities to get residency and permanent residency. And at the moment the hot topic is like visa 2021 residency, that people who stayed the 3 years in New Zealand, and there is some eligibility for that, and they are now dealing with them to give them residency, the ones who are already there. But again, like if you are immigrant from other place, remember that housing supply is in shortage in New Zealand. It's really quite hard to get a house. Even, you know, to buy, the interest rates are going up. All the immigration process will be really expensive, and if you live in Israel, so I think you will get almost the same with way more benefits actually staying than actually going. And of course there are benefits of the culture. Culture is another thing. So remember, when you immigrating from one country to another, there is high chance that you won't get connected to the culture over there, because Israeli culture, people are here very kind of honest, even they're rude, but they honest, they warm and friendly, and yeah, the honesty is kind of a big thing. While in New Zealand a lot of people kind of disguise their real intentions, what they think about you, just because to kind of be nice and be pleasant, and from my point of view, I prefer that person will be real. If somebody don't like you, you can nicely say that I don't kind of like you, not to wait or give him a hint that he's not welcomed or whatever. Just tell them, you know. And again, like in New Zealand, it's not easy to get socially accepted if you are kind of different, and especially when you have like a from Israeli background, and you have like specific character, you know, warm character, and you're kind of loud. People don't really like that over there, so you need to like, you know, put a lot of effort to adjust, especially if you are different, you know. And that's one of the things of immigration. So you need to kind of think like, what am I immigrating for, you know? Of course, it will be massive advantages for New Zealand, I will tell you, but at the moment, really, after 6 years living in New Zealand, now I came back for a few months and just been in the area, you know, like United Arab Emirates and Ukraine and all this area. like I see a lot of advantages, you know, living here, you know. So there's another dog, but he's more quiet at the moment. Anyway, and regards what's happening in the world today, yeah, we are regards finances, I just want to give you one thing, that regards finances, we actually don't really know what is going to happen. So now it's not the best time for immigration anywhere, unless you're kind of in a risk zone. The best place for you is to be in a place where you can grow your own food, vegetables, have your own power, be far away from cities as possible, and have community of people like-minded who loves you and you love them, and you can take care of each other. And of course you have protection. And the countries that are like this are still kind of, I can't say exactly which countries are they at the moment,